About to start our nitrogen purge to install a new expansion valve. So here's the wet rag heat blocking putty, and the gel up there is one of many gels. There's a couple brands, but this is all they had on the market, and the other one would have been by Viper Products that I would grab, but they had this, which is basically the same thing. And your brazing spot for those who haven't known it, your heat you want applied is this tapered area, because this is where your silver rod is going to go. It's going to wick down into this area, so you want to apply the heat all the way around. You don't want your torch facing down. You don't want a torch facing down blowing heat down on the valve. You want your torch flame to always kind of heat up, and you want it as quick and fast as possible. And if at all circumstances you don't want your nitrogen blowing into your valve, because remember, you're going to get this roughly 12, 15, 1400 degrees, and you don't want 1400 degree nitrogen going into the body of your valve, heating your valve up. You would, if you have all preferable, you can flow nitrogen from the opposite side, and if you could get the nitrogen, if it will go the other way, you want your nitrogen to go away from your flame and carry the heat away. Same when you go to reverse in the other arm, you want the nitrogen to reverse flow and then come from the side after you did one side. You want the nitrogen to flow in this direction, so when you apply heat to the stem of the expansion valve, you don't blow hot nitrogen back up into your valve. You got to remember that. That's about all I got to say. You don't want your putty or your heat product to go all the way up onto where you are trying to heat up and braze, because it'll lower the temperature, it'll make it difficult, and your brazing rod will not want to wick down inside, so keep it down below the area. And that's about it. This is a short video on going overkill and really making sure no heat. Keep it as short as possible. Don't take a long time on your valve. The guys who always complain and say expansion valves always go out, I put them in and a year later they fail, they're usually the guys who don't use nitrogen. They take too long and they actually heat into their valve. They'll have the torch up there, they'll heat the valve and say, oh, I had a rag on there, that was good enough. They don't change filter dryers. They're the guys who do the short evacuation times, and they're always saying expansion valves always fail. Expansion valves usually don't always fail unless there's truly a manufacturing defect. The only defect of the expansion valve was the guy who installed the system or installed the expansion valve.